today is the third Sunday of Advent. This is the Sunday of Joy. And, we're starting out in jail, which makes sense, right? You think Disney, Hawaii, jail, these all bring joy, right? They all do. I mean, this is what you think of when you think of joy. You think automatically of jail. Well, we have John the Baptist here. We've been kind of following him the last few weeks. And again, he's in jail. Again, not the first thing you would think of when you think of the Sunday of Joy. You wouldn't think of Christmas and John the Baptist in jail. Now, what's interesting is the third Sunday of Advent is called Good Sunday. Each Sunday in the season of Advent is supposed to be a feast day, a day of celebration, and this week especially so, since it's joy. A time to be thankful for all that's been given, the promise of a Savior who has come, who is with us now, and who promises to return. And on the third Sunday, it's a day of celebration. Now we look at the scripture in Isaiah, and that seems to lend itself actually a little more towards what we're thinking of when we think of joy. We have this desert culture, and think about them. Think about them hearing about this image of flowing water and this lush greenery, streams everywhere, not worrying about ravenous beasts. It's a place of prosperity. But then we get to our scripture, and we're talking about John. And you may wonder, well, doesn't he know this is the Sunday of Joy? We're supposed to be hearing about joy today. Our gospel text doesn't really scream joy. And Matthew doesn't pull any punches as he describes John's current status. John was in prison and was starting to doubt. None of y'all have ever doubted, right? In chapter 3, John recognizes Jesus. You remember that? You remember the third chapter where John says, Jesus, you should be baptizing me. And you're coming to me for baptism? And of course, Jesus told him to calm down, do his thing, and they get into the baptism. Then he was sure. He recognized Jesus. Now he's wondering. Prison can do that to a person. Squeeze out the joy, the hope, and the certainty. John had taken a risk. He'd gone maybe a little too far, spoken out against the behavior of the people in power, and now he was suffering for it. Now he was in prison. He sends his still faithful followers, the ones that were still around, to ask a question. Now, some say that, well, he was doing this just for his followers. I don't know. I think that maybe John could have been doubting just a little bit. Maybe he was asking for a little confirmation. And he sends out his followers with a question. Was I right that day at the river? Was that one that I was really hoping for? Is that you? Are you the one who is to come? Or should we look for another? Are you really the Christ? Are you really the Messiah? Are you for sure? Are you really, really sure? Because, I got to tell you, Jesus, you really haven't met our expectations yet. Our teacher, John, has been dealing with a lot in prison. And to add insult to injury, our checklist for a Messiah, you're not really meeting. Prophet Isaiah had all sorts of requirements for a Messiah. And said all the things that a Messiah would do. He would say things like, strengthen the feeble hands, steady the knees that give give way. Say to those with fearful hearts, be strong, do not fear. Your God will come. He will come with vengeance, with divine retribution. He will come to save you. And Jesus, we thought that was you. But where's your vengeance? Where's your divine retribution? Where is our salvation? Last time we checked, Rome is still here. People are still being oppressed. And salvation has come to no one. And so the followers of John are saying to Jesus, are you really the guy? Are you really the one? Or are we wasting our time? Are you going to start acting like a Messiah? Now, I don't know if John's followers ever said it like that to Jesus, but I think it's possible they were thinking it. Because a lot of people were at that time. A lot of people were thinking Jesus is not stacking up to what a Messiah is supposed to be. The thing is, a lot of people, even though John's followers were asking Jesus this question, some of them may have already given up on Jesus. Because there's no doubt that some of the Israelite people already had. They had already given up on Jesus. He was just another fad. A lot of flash, but he kind of fizzled out. From their view, it was a world still without a Messiah. Can you imagine a world without a Messiah? Pretty dark and bleak. Has anybody here read the Chronicles of Narnia? Or at least The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? It's a book series by C.S. Lewis. Love the book series. I actually have a set from the 70s my parents gave me. Absolutely love it. They actually brought out 3 of the movies a few years ago, and even before that, BBC did it. And I vaguely remember in camp watching a cartoon version of it that I look at now. It was really bad. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first book that C.S. Lewis released. Amazing book. And there is the story of this fantasy land called Narnia. And Narnia, when these 4 children from our world go to Narnia, they come into a land of winter, perpetual winter. And it is being held controlled by the evil White Witch, who has brought about this endless winter. Always winter, never Christmas. All of the downs of winter and never Christmas. No hope of spring. Let's be honest, winter is a lot of people's least favorite season, isn't it? I mean, I've noticed that the older I get, the more I dislike winter. I have people that say, oh, well, I like snow. I don't have a problem with snow as long as it's not where I'm going to walk and not where I'm going to drive. And if it could warm up a little bit, that would be nice. I know, Bruce, I'm sorry, I know you like snow, I know you like winter, but, I disagree. But that's okay. And one of the reasons it's okay is because we know it's going to go away, right? We know eventually it's going to go away. We're going to get spring, we're going to get summer. It's all eventually going to go away. But honestly, sometimes it brings about what's called seasonal depression. It really is. This is a legitimate thing. In fact, my doctor had prescribed me vitamin D because apparently I spend too much time indoors. I don't know. But they said that during winter especially, vitamin D is actually important to take because if you don't get enough vitamin D, it brings about depression and things. Did you know that? Winter is this time of death, though, and dormancy, isn't it? I mean, a lot of plants plants and trees and everything go dormant. They almost look dead during this time of year. They go from beauty to blah. And we have this longing for that greenness, that color, that newness. Can you imagine if we lived in Narnia during that time? That perpetual winter. Would it eventually become too much? Can you imagine? Years and years and years of winter. Spring eventually dispels winter, doesn't it? Eventually we hear the birds. We see little shoots coming up. We see some color. Birds sing. Flowers blossom. Mountain springs flow. What would it be like to have eternal winter with no hope of Christmas, with no hope of spring? This is what it's like to live a life without a Savior. When we go